hey, let's make changes. So I'm like, all right, I wonder who Alex has got in mind. Rashard Smith seems like where you'd say, yeah, this makes sense to me. I understand the idea you're doing it. You know who I want to see play more? Jaden Hicks. Why? The question I have for you, why did you let go or not bring in a veteran safety if your plan was to play Jaden Hicks the exact same amount you played him last year? Like, and some of this is the young player stuff. Some of this is the trust with Spag stuff. But he's still only playing like 45% of the time. Not high enough is the truth. And when I start looking at the Chiefs snap counts and everything else with it, I can't understand for a player that, and this is the same problem they've had last year and the problem they had the year before and everything else. At the very least, even if Jaden Hicks is making a mistake, do you know one thing I know he does do, Gold? Is that at least he seems to have some ball hawk instincts a little bit. And that's where I'm like, hey, do you think the Chiefs could use a turnover? Do you think that maybe that would have helped him win one of the two games? They found a way to get the ball, and hell, I'll never know if they got the ball on that final play of the tush push.
Sure.
Setting that one aside. Doesn't feel like that's something that would actively hurt them, Gold. And so I'd want to see Jaden Hicks play more. The wide receiver stuff's tough because until the entire unit comes together and is playing together at the same time, I'm going to have a hard time making a determination there.
Yeah, the only thing with Hicks I would say is, I think he progresses, but in week one, it was not good at all. And that wasn't good for the entire defense. So maybe that's your argument.
Got fried.
Because
he's going to be singled out?
He was. I mean, it was very noticeable for him. So is that the solution, is him playing more? We know that's what they view him as long-term. They draft him for a reason. They moved on from Justin Reed for a reason. But yeah, is that the shift? I actually thought the secondary, because they were able to get some pressure via the blitz on Hurts, they were very, very good. The question on Sunday night against Russell Wilson will be, with Malik Neighbors and that dynamic wide receiver, how do the Chiefs speed up Russell Wilson? Therefore, you're not having your secondary on an island as much. But, a lot of this, some people are texting in like, they want play call changes. Again, we're talking personnel. We've already had we can get into that again later tomorrow. We're talking just personnel shift, not you want them to run the ball more or less or whatever. We're talking strictly, is there a player you think should be playing more or less heading into Sunday?
I got to say, there's at least an argument for the only other one that I think makes sense just on its surface, other than like, oh, I want Gelati to play more because you're just thinking you want more guys in the defensive line, is what I think got a taste of in the first one, which is on third down in a obvious pass catching situation. Do you want a guy like Bassa? Do you want a guy like Chanel? Do you want those guys on the field more than your actual middle linebacker who got paid a lot of money to come out here and be Nick Bolton? And this is not meant to be like, let's bury Nick Bolton time. We got into this yesterday and all that. It's not that. It's just, if we know it's an obvious passing situation and there's going to be guys out for routes, is that a good snap for Nick Bolton to take off? Do you know what percentage of the defensive snaps he's played this year? 100. All of them. He is one of 3 defensive players to play 100% of the snaps. Brian Cook, Trent McDuffie, and him. Shamari Connor, very close. And that goes back to the Jaden Hicks equation of it, too.
So
which is,
honestly, it's more you think just Connor should be playing less.
Yeah.
It's more than, I know.
More than I want Jaden Hicks playing more,
yeah.
I want Shamari Connor playing a little bit less.
There you go.
There's some truth to, look, I think they probably go a little hand in hand, Gold. But, and Nick Bolton, I don't care if he takes 1 or 2 snaps off in what seem like obvious situations are going to be working against him. Like, not every day, not 3rd and 5, where things could go a couple different ways, not 3rd and 3, not 3rd and 1, none of those. But if it's 3rd and 13, and we've decided we're putting Chanel on the edge to blitz, and we need shallow coverage where they've been getting 8 or 9 on these tight ends, these running backs, I don't know why I wouldn't want a better pass defending linebacker in that situation. I don't think that's not that crazy to me. Their thing is, though, they don't like taking Nick Bolton off the field.
Someone else says, same with Noel Williams. They would like to see him. That'd be the shift, play him more. I thought we saw that a little bit, at least on one.
He's only played 6% of the defensive snaps so far. So
yeah, I think, that's an opportunity with now knowing that Christian Fulton did not practice again yesterday, and we'll see today if he practices, although it doesn't sound good that he's going to play anytime soon for the Chiefs. Yeah, Noel Williams, I thought on the one particular play stood out. You know what I'm talking about, where he was one-on-one, and you thought he had pass interference, but they didn't call it. And
he definitely shoved.
Really good coverage, though.
But yeah, he was on him.
And so they let him on a 3rd down. They let him, be out there on his own, which I thought was a good step. And maybe as the season goes on, his playing time increases. I don't think he's going to be a starter by Drew's week 4 deadline or whatever, but I think he's going to continue to see increased playing time as the season continues, especially if he makes plays like he did on that one. Is there a player, though, Drew, for you that you would want to see?
I think Ashton Gelati needs to start instead of Charles Omenihu because it feels like we've seen.
Wow, you're already ready to bury a mini. That's Gold's guy.
Because I think we've seen through the first 2 games, it feels like Ashton Gelati he's more productive in run stopping. I think he's been flying around a little bit more than Charles Omenihu has. And I think last week Charles played, I think it was 65% of the snaps, and Ashton Gelati was 41, if I remember right. I might be a little bit off on the numbers, but
it's probably close to that.
But I think Ashton Gelati has been as productive with less snap. So theoretically, you think if you give him more run, then you might get more out of him. And as we're talking about the pass rush or lack thereof, it feels like why not at this point? You're 2 games in, give the rookie a chance to just try to go and make something happen and just see how it goes.
I feel like this is a really common conversation that we have with the Chiefs, just because Spags hates rookies. Honestly, I think if you gave him truth serum, he'd say it. I hate him. I hate playing rookies.
He
I
just
don't
doesn't
like him near the
trust them.
feet.
He doesn't trust them. He just doesn't
Not like
trust
hates
them.
him as people.
I know what you're saying.
He hates him as football
he
players.
doesn't trust them. And that goes back to the whole Nick Bolton thing even. It's just the same thing. There's guys that he trusts that he knows that they – I understand week 1, the communication was a problem as a unit. He believes that they're going to be in the right spot. The whole Tyrann Mathieu thing last week that he said to us, do your job. He feels like those guys are going to do their job. Unfortunately, in week 1, a lot of the vets did not do their job. That's why the defense was such a disaster. But it's also why they improved, I think, so much in week 2. So we can get back into this a little bit later on. I'm sure we'll hit on it again with Danan Hughes. We'll ask him the same question if there's a personnel shift he would like to see. Nobody's saying that you should be changing everything 2 weeks from the season. But is there a player that, you'd like to see play a little bit more? I told you, I think it's Brashard Smith. Cody says Jaden Hicks. Drew going with Ashton Gelati a little bit as well. We'll get into the Royals' win last night, but the play of one pitcher that they lost for much of the season and how that can impact the offseason coming up in just a bit. Interesting numbers that were floating around yesterday from Bill Barnwell about just some of the top teams in the NFL and how old teams are, how young teams are. And this is just based off of the snaps and age. You just got done saying you think defensively they're not playing a lot of young guys, but it's kind of intriguing to see it broken down this way. So, for example, the Chiefs' average age on offense is 27.2 years old. That is the middle of the pack of the league, 16th. They're not the oldest, they're not the youngest. They're in the middle of the road.
That's with an older
30-year-old quarterback.
Well, Patrick Mahomes is in the top 10 oldest quarterbacks in the NFL because so many teams have bad quarterbacks. Yeah. A lot of them are in their 20s.
If you're wondering, the youngest offense in the league right now is the Rams. Or the oldest, offense in the league is the Rams.
Stafford's really not helping that.
Mm-hmm. The Packers are the youngest along with the Jets and the Seahawks. So the Seahawks are at 25.6 years of average age on the offense, Jets 25.3, Packers 25.8. On the defensive side of the ball, the Chiefs, younger, but not maybe as young as we would like it based on more snaps for Noah Williams. So the Chiefs, 26 and a half years old is the average age. That's 22nd. And that's, again,
so they're younger, but they're older compared to the rest of the league.
Correct.
Teams typically start younger defensive players.
Overall, they skew older, still as a whole entire team. 22 is where they rank, which again, that's going to be, or skew younger, I'm sorry. The 5 oldest teams, Steelers, Commanders, Browns, Broncos, Vikings. 5 youngest teams in football, I already mentioned Packers, Jets, Seahawks, Cowboys, Eagles. So more on the NFC side in terms of the younger teams in the NFL, for whatever reason, just the way it's worked out. I guess, is that intriguing to you at all to see, we talk about roster turnover and, where you draft and things like that, you have to turn over the roster, but they still I think they actually right now have done a nice job. They've balanced it pretty well. They have not gone full youth movement. You can't when you have a team that's trying, to win now, but also at the same time, they're not the Steelers, who are basically the oldest team in football, or one of the oldest teams in football.
I think if you look at it, it's encouraging to me because I think that part of the offensive age is being skewed by the fact that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce exist. Like that is skewing where they are, because I think if you actually thought about it, the Chiefs' offense is incredibly young. They've got 2 offensive linemen who are just barely into their second contracts in the NFL. So they're still in their, not even into their 30s, in their mid-20s, late 20s. Then you've got an entire group of wide receivers all on rookie deals. Royals, Worthy, Rice, nobody's, Juju's skewing that thing up, and he's the 4th or 5th option on the team.
True.
Hell, even Tyquan Thornton's still in his 20s. And so, like, I actually think the offense skews younger than you think. And it's just the Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes of the world. I think I feel better about that unit. Defensively, I'm kind of torn. Because defensively, I understand something that's going to happen very quick, which is what are you going to do when Chris Jones isn't around? And the fact that you're already on a second contract, like we mentioned for George Karlaftis, and you'll be on a second contract for Trent McDuffie here soon
Their top
enough.
pick next year, there's a real chance it's the defensive lineman.
And maybe an interior defensive lineman or somebody who can get to the quarterback in a hurry. That unit feels older to me. And part of it is because not that they're physically older than the offensive side of the ball. They've been with the team for a long time. And as you just pointed out, defenses skew younger in the NFL. A lot of teams play 23, 24, 25-year-old defensive players. And some of their players just feel like they've longer in the tooth than that, I guess.
Here's where like some of the contenders in the AFC, at least over the last couple of years, if you're just wondering. So, for example, a team like the Buffalo Bills. So where the Chiefs on offense, I said, were 27.2. The Bills are also 27.2 average age. Defensively, the Bills are 26.9 average age. The Chiefs, I told you, are 26.9, literally, or 26.5. And they're also 26.5. The Chiefs and Bills have identical average age on offense and defense.
But here are their oldest players in the team. The offense, it's a liar. They are one of, and this is why I'll give them a lot of time to grow this year, especially when they get other players back. In my opinion, they're one of the youngest offenses in the NFL. Here are their 5 oldest players. One, doesn't matter, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's their 3rd oldest player.
Oh, the Chiefs, not the Bills. Sorry.
Unimportant because he's the quarterback. Robert Tonyan, Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt, Gardner Minshew, Juju Smith-Schuster. Every other player on the team is 28 years or younger, and I would argue far more important players for where they're headed in their future.
Sure.
Like, way more important. Because, like, Travis Kelce's only for this year. He's not the long-term part of where those things are. Every other player on the roster, including all their wide receivers, essentially, are like 25 and under. And so, like, even Trey Smith's only 26. And so, like, I think the offense is still younger than even it looks like on paper. 16th is a bit of a misnomer because the 2 old tight ends and Kareem Hunt and Gardner Minshew are on the roster, you know? And Gardner's still not even 30. And so, I still think that there's a lot of growth there. All the young defensive players don't play. That's the problem. Bassa, Gelati, Noel Williams, Jaden Hicks, and Omar Norman-Lott are their 5 youngest players. Any of those guys play more than 40% of the snaps?
No, and again, this number is not based on...
Maybe Gelati, but that's it.
It's important.
He's right at that mark.
Yeah, it's important to mention the way they're doing the age stuff on this is based on snaps through week 2, not necessarily like looking at the roster and going average. This is based on who's actually playing. So I know
that's why the defense is skewing older,
right? But it's based off that, but also you listed off some of the vets like Robert. Yes, you're saying that, hey, they're actually really young. It doesn't count. No, the numbers I'm giving you, though, are based on who's played, though. So, yeah, Robert Tonyan.
Juju's had to play more, I would argue.
Yeah,
but
now
sure.
Robert Tonyan, I don't know how many snaps has he played in the first 2 weeks. It can't be much. It can't be that. More in week 2,
I'll be honest, when I was looking up the snap counts earlier, I did not look up
you weren't
Roberts.
focusing on Robert Tonyan. Point is just there's some guys that this number's already factoring in them not playing. That's all. But
sure.
Isn't that something, though, that, like, going back even, like, to the last conversation, is that something that Spags has to adjust to?
No.
Like, you
I mean, he's had the number 1 defense in the league, so this is one of those, like, real tough situations. Would I like him to play younger players more, Drew? Yep. Do I get to be like, hey, man, what's the deal? Why don't you play any of these guys more? It's I run into a murky territory.
No, but to your point, when Chris Jones is gone, they are going to he's going to have no choice. But he has to play a young player. He's going to have to play a rookie. And again, somebody mentioned it yesterday. It's tough.
Chris Jones is under contract for another 2+ years, and by then they'll either sign another free agent, big time player, or they'll be drafted. You know what I mean?
I know, but
is
is that where they're going to figure it? Is that where they're going to do stuff?
I'm not telling you
Spags is there where, you know what? I don't want a rookie starting for me. You can draft one, but I want you to go sign somebody in free agency.
Robert Tonyan, by the way, has played 10% of the snaps.
Okay. Yeah, Drew, I would say, again, unless they move on from Chris Jones earlier, in 2 years, if we think they might have to draft a defensive lineman in the first round this year, who's to say that defensive lineman isn't legit in 2 years? He's not a young player. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, Gelati could be a better player 2 years from now.
If Chris Jones was gone after this season, then yeah, I think you're right. They would go the free agent, big time player route more than they would go and want to start a young player. But I guess what I'm saying is like they're going to have 2 years to prepare for his departure.
A lot of this is they're going to have to get way younger and play younger players, Drew, not because Spags is going to be forced into it, but because the thing that we don't want to admit, which is their cap problems are going to start being far more real.
Yeah.
Right now, they're able to survive their cap, but
Chris Jones' cap in next year is a mess.
It's astronomical. It's so high. And Patrick Mahomes' number goes up. And some of these other players who are playing a lower number 2 right now's numbers go up. And so, like, as much as I'd like to just sit here and pretend that they're never going to have cap issues with Patrick Mahomes, at some point, reality is reality. Sure. And they are going to have to, like, suffer the consequences of their cap, and that typically comes with young. That's why I feel great about the offense. Right now, there's not a single player
you
they're playing
feel good
on
about
offense.
the offense, yes.
There's not a single player offensively that I like going forward that I think is a 4-year player for them that isn't already paid and figured out underneath the cap, or a rookie, a wide receiver in their rookie deal. And I'll be honest, based on recent news events, I think there's a decent chance they're getting a discount on Rashee Rice if he ends up being really good when he comes back. Because
the Tyreek Hill discount contract the first time, you mean?
There was an article out at Yahoo Sports today that, you know, like Rashee Rice's, like the lawyers against Rashee Rice in one of the civil cases for the person he had hurt in an accident had said they still hadn't paid any of the $500,000 that for the first payment of the $1.2 million or whatever he owes because funds, right? A little short on cash. Not surprising. Rashee Rice hasn't made much money, and I imagine he had to spend a fortune paying just the lawyers to get to this part. He might be a discount guy in a year. And so, like, the offense is where I feel good. Defensively, at some point, they're either going to have to draft some superstars, which is very tough, finding a player of Chris Jones' caliber, or they're going to have to be young everywhere and athletic everywhere and hope that they've got 1 or 2 stars you mentioned they can, like, pay in free agency.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, is that if they draft a defensive lineman and Chris Jones, like, if they draft a defensive lineman this year, which the class, unfortunately, is not that great at defensive tackle, so as it looks right now, but if they draft a defensive tackle and he's that dude, and Chris Jones looks a little bit washed next year, but Spags is like, nah, I got to play Chris Jones because he's my, then that's what I think the problem is, where if he's like, well, I got to play Bolton because he's my guy, or I got to play Shamari Connor because he's my guy. I don't care if he misses tackles and can't cover.
But by then he might play them because they're a second-year or third-year player. By then he likes playing them.
It doesn't make any sense, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but also
when he's that good of a coach.
I'll push back, though. Like, I know you were giving an example, but like you said, if Chris Jones is washed in a year, kind of like Nick Bolton, I think sometimes these conversations we're having about Bolton.
No. I didn't
say
you
said.
No, I did not say Nick Bolton was washed. I said he likes players like Nick Bolton.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought you were calling Nick Bolton.
No, that's what it sounded like.
I think
my point is okay, because same with Chris Jones, like acting like Chris Jones or Nick Bolton. It's one thing if you can say, hey, you don't like how they're playing. I disagree with that. Either player looks like they're just done or washed or whatever. That would have been to me kind of crazy to say. That's all.
We're okay.
I mean, Nick Bolton's still what, 27?
Gold, I did see big news for your alma mater today. Yes, all the reports is that they're heading to London.
Yeah,
I can't believe. First off, I just assumed that there was a college football game that's been played in London to this point, but apparently
never.
Not. There hasn't been a game for the power conferences that have been played in London. And according to reports, Kansas will take on Arizona State as a Kansas home game in London at Wembley in early September next year. You're normally anti-giving up home games, but in college they get like 15 of them. So what do I care?
The only reason why this makes sense next year is KU Stadium is still going to be under construction, and so they will have reduced capacity. If you were ever to do it this year, or last year would have been the year to do it, or next year, right? Like last year when they were playing games at Arrowhead and Sporting, that would have been a year to do this. Or next year when the east side of the stadium is still going to be under construction. So I guess this would be the time to do it. Brett McMurphy says it's going to happen next year on September 19th, 2026. It is a home game, as you said, so there's a ton of money involved here. The same reason why K-State went to Ireland. They got a ton of money to give up a home game. The worry, of course, is the trip hangover. People will use that if you're a K-State fan. For some of that, I would say Iowa State's looked just fine since the trip. This is a conference game as well, and if it's in week 4, my guess is they would have a bye week set up right after. So we'll see. Yeah, it's going to happen. In general, yeah, I'm not a fan of giving up a home game ever to go play internationally. But if you're going to have less seats available for fans to begin with, it makes it out to be a pretty smart financial decision for Kansas if that's the case next year.
I think it's overall, this follows the one thing I would say, the single best quality of Brett Yormark to this point is he understands that they can't be the Big Ten of the SEC of football, and they're never going to get the exposure. So they're going to have to buy their exposure. They're going to have to build a brand, and they're going to have to go branding and marketing and exposure and big ideas. And so if two of your teams from the conference are willing to go over there for the Union Jack series is what they call it, hopefully all Big 12 teams, well then do it. Pop them over and brand the hell out of it. Put it on early in the morning. Gold, same thing. I bet if Kansas is playing 8 in the morning, you'll be up. You'll put the game on. You'll watch. Yormark is good at marketing. He's very, very
he's
good
done
at
a
that.
great
I actually
job.
think that's why they survived instead of the Pac-12. Nobody knew what the Pac-12 brand was anymore. The Big 12 at least had an identity.
Yeah, he's willing to take risks. He's innovative. Again, in general, I don't think there's many fan bases that want their program going overseas and giving up games. I think they made this decision with these teams. You have Arizona State, who at this point is played well, but they don't have a ton of ties to the Big 12 rivalries yet. They're new. And then Kansas, you found a team that's still upgrading their stadium, and next year they're going to have fewer seats available. So it kind of is a perfect fit. In the future, it'll be interesting what teams are willing to give up that game that aren't making changes to their stadium, that are more established, et cetera. Nobody's going to want to give up a rivalry game overseas. So it would have to be games
You don't
like
want
this.
KUK State.
Yeah, like I know Farmageddon's a rivalry, but like I'm talking about, you're not playing KUK State in Ireland or London, right?
Farmageddon is a decent rivalry.
Farmageddon's a big rivalry.
Yeah, but it's not an in-state rivalry.
From the 785, did you say the stadium will be in construction next year? That's 3 years. The Empire State Building was built in 1 year.
Yeah, phase 2 of the project
In
hasn't
fairness,
started.
they started talking about raising funds for the stadium like 15 years ago. So you should just be happy it's being built.
Yeah, phase 2 of the project once this football season is over, they immediately start demolishing the east side of the stadium and working on the phase 2.
Yeah.
The Gateway District.
I'm excited. I think it's good for the Big 12. I think it's good for Kansas. Both things are important. We haven't seen a lot of international
good for college football,
games,
too.
apparently. The only difference is like the student athlete stuff is so far gone out the window. I
Wow,
borderline
we're way
wonder
past
why we
that,
make them go to class at all. What are we doing? What is this student part of the student athlete part?
Says Professor Tapp of the University of Missouri, Kansas City, or Kansas City University.
The next time you have an athlete, you should just ask
have
them
an athlete
why.
in my class right now.
No, so what you should
I
do
have
is
two,
when they show up, you should ask legitimately. Just be like, why are you in here?
Well, in fairness,
Why are you coming to my class? Just straight up ask them that. Why are you here?
my class is
You play sports.
unavailable online.
You're a pro athlete.
And, slightly different than the Division I collegiate football level versus, whoever I've got on like the golf team.
College football coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light and Tanner's are teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your college team, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets only at Kansas area Tanner's locations. Bud Light and Tanner's, from the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters. Up next, we'll talk about the Royals briefly after Cole Reagan's made his return to the rotation. What could that set up for the offseason?
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Josh Simmons. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Well, we got Thursday night football, and every NFL Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel. Because with FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot, you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each week. To get in on this Thursday's action, as in tonight, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. And if your player scores the first or last touchdown of the game, you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to take a shot at the jackpot. That's FanDuel.com/Alex for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt in. Must apply profit boost tokens on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets with expired 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Robside Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
Get your home ready for the change in seasons with a $69 HVAC tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Our pros can help you lower energy costs, prevent costly breakdowns, and make sure your system is running at peak efficiency right when you need it most. And it's all backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Don't fumble your airport parking. Score big with Park & Go. All covered parking, fast and free shuttles, and open 24/7. For the best deals in airport parking, reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and fan approved.
Surfside iced tea and vodka in Surfside lemonade and vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
Doug. Limu and I always tell you to customize your car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. But now, we want you to feel it. Cue the emu music, Limu.
Save yourself money today. Increase your wealth. Customize and save, we say.
That may have been too much feeling.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Hi, I'm Sam Silvio with M. Shamus Brazilian Grill in the village of Burlington Creek. Holidays will be here before you know it, and M. Shamus is ready to get a jingle from you. From our all-you-can-eat hot and cold gourmet salad bar to our 12 cuts of beef, lamb, pork, or chicken. Go to mshamus.com to order our famous Brazilian glazed holiday hams in advance or set a holiday party date for a table of 1 to a party of 100. Go to mshamus.com and discover the joy of dining.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com, or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance.
Financial services.
Insurance.
Financial services.
Now when I say Nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide.
Is both.
Nationwide.
Is both.
For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest, we believe.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Coming up in 25 minutes, Danan Hughes, former Chiefs wide receiver, part of the Chiefs radio network. He, of course, will be in the Meadowlands Sunday night on the call with Mitch Holthus and Josh Klingler right here on 96.5 The Fan. I really want to ask him about, I don't know if he ever played with, like the harness on the shoulder that Worthy might have to play with. If he plays, he will have to play with. Or if he had a teammate, just what does he think the limitation, if any, could be from Worthy? We'll try to get some inside knowledge on that from Danan in just a little bit. But let's pivot a little bit to baseball for a second. The Royals, of course, had a series continuing against the Mariners last night. They also have a game this afternoon right here on 96.5 The Fan. It was a 7-5 win. That part doesn't really matter. It's the fact that
they're back to 500.
Cole Reagan's returned to the rotation yesterday after missing a good chunk of this season, unfortunately. And we know there were going to be limitations in his debut back. 3 2/3, gave up 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts.
First inning looked awesome.
Yeah, first inning, you're like, okay. And as we discussed with Vern, yesterday, he'll get one more outing probably, right, before the season's over. And
yeah, I don't think based on the timing he'd get two.
I think he gets one more. And can he look good enough to where at least it keeps the door open that he's one of the pitchers you could potentially think about using to acquire an outfielder? Now, he alone is not going to get you what you want. But can he and somebody else package together versus it just being, in my opinion, a Noah Cameron type? Chris Bubich, I don't think is tradable with the injury. So Cole Reagans would be another option if he can show that he's healthy, that he can get through some starts. He only has one more, though, to prove that.
Cole Reagans is under contract for 3 more years after this one for the Royals and makes nothing. I mean, just absolutely nothing. He makes $4.5 million next year. He makes $7.5 million the year after that. And then they'll have to arbitration eligible argue over a fee, probably make him about a $10 million pitcher.
Okay.
That's nothing. That's just no money in Major League Baseball, especially as the cap and numbers come up. And you also know that probably around that 2027 range, is anyone going to play? Are you going to lose an entire look, you really do have to think about this stuff. Are you going to lose one of the 3 years because I know the players are going to argue that whatever year they hold out on, that those don't count against them as far as contract years or anything else in between, and they don't want those actively working against them. Here's the truth. I just want to know who you're willing to trade. Are you willing to trade Cole Reagans? Are you willing to trade Noah Cameron? Are you willing to trade Chris Bubich? Are you willing to trade Burgert or Kolek or, because as it sits, Waka, and I don't think Waka because of his age and all that other stuff.
He's not going to give you enough back in return.
Sure. They are not short on available options to do it. An old me think, I'd have been like, man, I don't like Cole Reagans. A dirt cheap ace when healthy? That's not the kind of person I want trading almost never. Their recent development of pitching is making me way faster and looser on my willingness to trade almost any of them. Is that... that might be insane, but they're just calling up anybody and they're successful at this point.
I think it's fair, and it's frankly it's similar to what the Rays have done in their history. You know, we all know that the ties with Matt Quatraro to that organization, and they're always used as kind of the example that people tried to for pitching development. And you have to be willing to turn over the pitching staff a little bit more often than maybe some other organizations. You max them out. Frankly, maybe the way you're teaching them how to pitch as well, is that tougher on the arm? I don't know, right? But you also, you know your pitcher better than any other organization. Yeah. And so is the clock ticking on anybody as well in terms of health? All that knowledge that you have to use that to your advantage as well. what you're describing would be, to me, what the Rays have done a lot throughout their history. Some really, really good pitchers they were willing to trade when they were still pitching pretty well, but they felt confident in their development to turn it over and continue to add assets.
Like when they traded Chris Archer, it did not impact them at all. They just traded away a guy who was like a ace-level starter, who was cheap and under control, and they just moved on from Chris Archer, and they're just like, and Tyler Glasnow, they're like, Like for the most part, look, it's been a little bit rockier lately, but their pitching development allowed them to move on from guys. And the truth is, very similar to how I feel now. They have more guys in their system who are closer to helping them at the big league level at pitching than they do hitting. Maybe it's Ben Kudrna, right? Didn't he just get promoted to AAA like a month ago? Maybe he's on the doorstep. And look, it's probably far too many years for me to discuss David Shields, but as their organizational pitcher of the year is only 18 years old, he might only be 2 years away from helping you at the end of this Cole Reagans thing. I genuinely think there's not a pitcher who should be considered safe, and you should be looking at return for the player you want more than the name of the pitcher. And that includes guys like Noah Cameron, who have impossibly cheap control for the next 5 years.
913-586-7965. Someone says, why do you have to trade for an outfielder? Just pay for one. I would agree with that model this past offseason. The tricky thing is if you take a little peek on the projected
Kyle
free,
Schwarber, nothing.
You take a look at the projected free agent outfielders, there's not many options. I'm not saying there isn't a option. There's not many options. And so how else are you going to acquire an outfielder? Well, that would be via trade, and the assets that you have are more plentiful in the pitching department, or if you go down to the minors, obviously, and you're willing to trade a prospect like Blake Mitchell, which to me they should be willing to if they believe Carter Jensen's the future. I don't know if they do, but it sounds like it. And that's more of a near-term thing than it is.
I love how much Carter Jensen gets on base.
If your argument is like they should have just spent money for an outfielder, well, yeah, that goes back to this past offseason. I think it's very evident at this point in time they made a mistake in how they evaluated their offseason of the outfield position. I mean, they completely
thought they could get by
They're
with it.
starting left fielder and right fielder on opening day. One's not even in baseball anymore. The other one's stuck in AAA.
He just got a cycle in AAA.
He did. He was like the International League Player of the
He is a
week or
genuinely
something.
confusing player.
Yeah.
But
So,
he might,
yeah,
by the way, you
like-
want to talk about a guy who ends up in a trade this year that we don't need to talk
He
about?
just gets thrown in probably, though.
Yes. I'm not saying he's getting you something in return. I'm just stating a fact that I'd be surprised if MJ Melendez is still a member of the Royals organization by the time 2026 starts. That's all.
Yeah, we'll see. This won't be the last time we talk about this convo. This will be one of the biggest stories, not just with him, Cole Reagans, in general. How do they go and acquire that outfielder? Who are you willing to part ways with? And yeah, you're going to have to part ways if you go the trade route with someone that you think is pretty good. Hence, they have value. That's the tough decisions that JJ Piccolo gets paid to make and will have to make this offseason. All right, let's talk some more NFL. Colin Cowherd was talking about coaches, and we've discussed the Andy Reid future and his track record and how people will view him when his career's over, right? His
and
legacy.
how that's been going for Belichick
His
lately.
legacy, in contrast to how it looks like it's ending for Belichick. Andy Reid might be ending on a heater. I understand they're 0-2 right now, but in general, he's winning titles at the end, whereas Belichick wasn't. Another name that's part of this convo that we've never really talked about, at least according to Colin Cowherd, is how about Jim Harbaugh? Listen to his argument about Harbaugh being the greatest coach of all time.
Football's different. There's the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and then there's the College Football Hall of Fame. But I was thinking this morning that if you combined it like basketball, and it was just, there was a Football Hall of Fame, you could count college and pro. I would make an argument today, the greatest coach in the history of football is not Bill Belichick or Bill Walsh or Vince Lombardi. It's Jim Harbaugh, the greatest coach ever. Think about this. He's never failed. He's 5 for 5 at San Diego, Stanford, San Francisco 49ers, Michigan, and the Chargers. He's never failed. Saban and Urban, unbelievable college legends, struggled in the NFL. He's also not tied to a single player. What's Belichick without Brady? Not great. The only person that kind of compares to him is Jimmy Johnson.
So I actually think he makes some good points. I think there's some points that are very, very strong.
He didn't fail anywhere.
He hasn't failed anywhere, and it's true. He does not have the quarterback attached to him that you say, oh, this is why he had successes at him or the quarterback. Those are strong points. The one part he leaves out, though, that I think has to always be factored in, the same way it is, at least with part of your opinion, not everything, but part of your opinion with Belichick, and that is, hey, Harbaugh has been caught and punished for cheating while coaching.
Yes.
In a serious way. Now, the title, as we discussed at the time, it's not like the title gets stripped away from his record or anything, but we also know there's cheating allegations around his career. That, to me, kind of hurts your case to be the greatest of all time.
It also just like,
come on,
you're asking me to weigh it in a very weird way. So championships have to matter when we have the greatest of all time debates. They have to matter some. And again, the Bill Russell versus some of the others era also matters, and when you're able to win it, right? If you're playing in the 30s and you can just win title after title after title after title, and there's no safeguards, right? I care less about the Yankees titles in the 30s when, like, the league wasn't integrated and a million other things, right? Tough on Saban. Saban wasn't a total. He wasn't. Let's not lump him in with Urban Meyer in the NFL. Saban was a 500 coach in the NFL and won 7 national championships at 2 different programs.
Sure.
And he's not tied to a single player either. So if I'm combining both.
But we're having the greatest of all time combo, and so he needed to have more NFL success, right?
Maybe, but like, what is Harbaugh's NFL success? He doesn't have an NFL title. He's coached in 1 Super Bowl. And
That's far more than what Saban in the NFL.
I know, but like, that's not enough to discount 5 national championships.
Yeah,
you know,
someone's saying, what has he done with the Chargers? Remember, he coached the 49ers as well.
So somebody brings
No,
up...
you do. I'm just saying the texter.
Somebody brings up the ultimate point. I think the one person who actually could challenge him and might actually be better in this conversation is Pete Carroll.
He's done the exact same thing.
Yeah, except for he's won the Super Bowl.
He's won the Super Bowl and has won an
actually.
actual...
One or two.
Yeah, I think... and yeah. He's... I think if you wanted to use the example, I think Pete Carroll actually is the example that Colin Cowherd should be using if he wants to take this route of success.
You're probably going to hate this. And I'll just tell you, like, Gold, there's plenty of arguments like we mentioned before on the other side as well. You know what the single biggest problem I have with this is that I think coaching college is easier. I think it's way, way, way easier. I don't think it's about being a coach. You can have the advantages you have coaching in college at play, and I know he won at San Diego State, but but the advantages you have coaching at USC, coaching at Michigan, you are instantly better than 98% of all colleges. Your roster's better, your team's better. You don't have to negotiate a cap or coach better. It's easier to coach.
You know how many college coaches have gone to the NFL because they think college is too hard?
I think coaching in college.
To give you to give you a direct example, Jeff Hafley. To give you an example, Jeff Hafley, who's the DC at Green Bay, quit mid-season because he thought coaching in the NFL was easier because it was only about coaching. If you're a coach in college, you have to deal with recruiting and meetings and traveling the country, trying to get money in NIL, and then you also have to coach.
That to me isn't coaching. Getting NIL money,
but that's part of the job, Cody.
It is absolutely part of being a coach.
Yeah, if your argument is that, hey, if you're at Michigan versus another school, you have more resources, therefore it makes
way
it
more.
Okay, if that's your argument, I get it. But I'm with Drew on the idea, though, the argument that it's just on game day, that's all you do, that's all that it counts for, is not true at all.
That's why people love the NFL, is because it's only coaching. I don't have to worry about any of the other crap.
I think there's pros and cons to both, obviously, and why one coach won the other. But I do agree with Drew on the point of recruiting is a huge part of the job. And now I would actually argue coaching now is tougher than it was 10 years ago in college.
Which doesn't have Harbaugh in this argument.
This is why programs are hiring GMs, because now the coach, they're trying to make it to where the coach doesn't have to manage the cap, essentially, of NIL. But there are coaches that are doing that. Recruiting, you know what right now you're dealing with a quarterback that, he's pissed because he lost the starting job. Now he wants to transfer, and you got to massage this kid's ego or whatever. It's just, to me, coaching would be, in college would be a disaster.
I'm not saying it's not like a bigger headache.
Yes.
I just don't think it's as hard.
Yeah.
The other part is championships are also going to hurt Harbaugh on this. He's been successful everywhere he's been, but what does he have? One NFL?
He's got
just one college football title?
Correct.
That ain't enough.
Well,
Not to be the greatest.
People are also going back.
Get closer.
Yeah, but again, we're talking football. Someone says, "What about John Wooden?" We're not talking about. He's talking college football, and he's talking football coaches, not basketball coaches. I also think someone probably, if you go Colin Cowherd's argument, then Barry Switzer's in the mix of this as well, because he obviously was involved.
And he mentioned Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah,
Jimmy Johnson's a good example.
So there's a bunch there. I just think the cheating thing is a big part of it. Someone brought up Pete Carroll cheating. Here's where that one I think he gets more of a pass, frankly, is he was involved with the Reggie Bush thing, which he was never personally connected to, which has since been, everybody agrees, was just completely ludicrous. So I don't think people view Pete Carroll as a cheater the way they maybe would view Harbaugh.
Same thing that goes on now.
I also view, and this is personal, obviously everyone can view it a little bit different. Do you guys review recruiting, cheating different than I'm taping your practice? Paying players, I don't care. They were probably going to come to Michigan.
I agree with that. It's still cheating, but I know what you're saying.
100%.
It's a weighted cheating to me.
Which is why Belichick, I think, which is
stupid, but I
know
really
what
do.
you're trying to say.
I
yeah.
really do.
If there was a
view it
worse
slightly
cheater,
different.
you would label Belichick as the worst cheater. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because he
Agreed.
filmed people's. That's way worse cheating.
That's a schematic advantage and all that. Now, recruiting is a huge part of your program, and cheating to get a better player is having said talent on your team is also a huge freaking deal to be able to get. So interesting conversation. I don't think I agree with Coward on Harbaugh being the greatest coach of all time. I'll tell you that because I think it opens by that criteria. It opens it up for so many other individuals. We'll talk with Danan Hughes here in about 12 minutes or so. But the Chiefs are going to play Russell Wilson on Sunday night. What's your confidence check just as we sit Thursday at 10:50 in the morning on taking on Russell Wilson, knowing what the Chiefs have looked like, knowing what the Giants have looked like?
He looked pretty good in that game against the Cowboys.
And oddly enough, that makes me more confident. I don't believe Russell Wilson can put together two great performances at this stage of his career.
I was curious because of how good he looked. Does it worry you that the defense will backslide a little bit, or they're going to have to get in a shootout?
I mean, Neighbors is a problem.
Definitively something I don't want them getting in. I do not want the Chiefs getting in a shootout with anyone until the rest of their offensive weapons are back. I don't think that that's a good way for them to win or a successful way for them to win. I thought maybe you'd disagree. I also do not think Russell Wilson is capable of putting together back-to-back games like that. I think Russell Wilson is the kind of quarterback that occasionally he can still show you that he had it once.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, yeah. Remember when that's what Russ looked like week in and week out and they were a Super Bowl contending team every time? That's nice. More often than not, he looks like what he looked like in week one, which was terrible. He threw for 168 yards and completed 45% of his passes. He's just as likely to be that than the Cowboys version.
I'm probably like a 7 out of a 10 confidence the Chiefs win. Like it's probably a 7. Like before the season, I would have said it's like this is going to be a 10. It's probably a 7 for me heading into Sunday's game.
I mean, 7, 8? Yeah, I mean, I can't go lower than 5, can I? It's the Giants. Malik Neighbors is a huge
Still
problem.
not a coin flip game or anything.
But like, what else do they bring to the table besides they have a good defensive line?
The defensive front is impressive.
Yeah, the defensive front is good.
Very
But
impressive.
also, for as impressive as it is, Cowboys had no trouble carving them up.
The Cowboys also have CeeDee Lamb and all their
Pickens
weapons offensively. You know, that's the issue,
I know,
right?
but they
It's
put 40 on him.
they have better.
Devonta Williams, let's not make out like he's a superstar.
Their rushing attack is better set up than
He's
what
had
the
a good
Chiefs
start
got
to
right
the
now.
That's a really low par. I'd say that
Chiefs
about
could have
27
signed,
teams in the NFL.
You know, the Chiefs could have signed Javonte Williams for the same amount of money they're paying Elijah Mitchell, roughly.
Yikes.
No, it was a miss.
Yikes.
Look, Elijah Mitchell was a miss. I don't think there's any way. He's been inactive back-to-back game days.
Correct.
That was a whiff.
Correct.
Now, it was only a $1 million whiff. My biggest, you know what was a bigger whiff in my opinion? Giving that money to Kareem Hunt instead of Javonte Williams. The problem I had from the beginning was, why are you giving it to an aging back who didn't show burst last year? Now you think, and at least he was off the street and didn't have any miles on the tires when the season started last year. What is Kareem Hunt going to look like week 7 this year? Like, anybody want to ask that question? We don't think he looks like he has burst now. What happens when he's playing 40% of the snaps and it's week 7?
Javonte,
Because he's going to look like he's running in quicksand by the time we hit there. I hope Rashard Smith knows the system by then.
if my math is right, Javonte Williams has 57 more rushing yards than Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt combined this season.
That's not great. I get, but he's just like he's whatever. I've watched a lot of Javonte Williams because he played with Denver for a long time. The other problem you have with Williams is the same as other teams will ask about, like J.K. Dobbins. He looks good now, Drew. Will his body be available? Will he be available to play in a couple of weeks? He might not be.
I think you guys are right, though, in the fact that the way that the Cowboys carved up the Giants' defense, it should give you some encouragement. Not that the Chiefs can do the same thing, but that they should be more effective and trust that the defense, if they give the same sort of performance they did against Philly, then they'll be totally fine and they'll win the game. It's not going to be an issue.
Somebody says running back is only as good as their offensive line. I actually do not think. I think that there is both things at play.
But the texter's calling Genty a bust. He's 2 weeks into his NFL career. He's not a bust.
I do think that part of the problem Ashton Genty is having is related to his offensive line.
Right, but he's not a bust yet.
No.
I mean, he gets two weeks into his career and he hasn't been like. I mean, come on. He didn't blow out his knee and you're like, oh man, he's never going to be the same. He's 2 weeks into his career. He's been okay. He has not lived up to the top.
Pretty bad, but it's also like, yeah, it's so what? It's 2 games. Like, and I know that someone's going to say that, well, can't you say that about Pacheco? I'm like, I think we're seeing out of the Chiefs run game what we expected. And I'm not saying offensive line bears no weight. I'm not saying that's a zero factor in this. But I'll be honest, people who know football well, Mitchell Schwartz, people who like no offensive line play, no running back play, no football, grind tape, however you want to look at it. I've watched 10 clips from the last 2 games where Isaiah Pacheco does not go the right way. He chooses the wrong hole. He runs into his own offensive lineman when there is a hole. He doesn't go outside when Joshua Williams, multiple. There's multiple opportunities that he has had in the run game that he's not taken advantage of.
I agree.
So I don't know that I'm not saying the offensive line bears no weight in this discussion, but it's look, Russell Wilson, I don't know. He'll probably just be in the middle of those two. He'll have 200 yards and a touchdown. And the Malik Neighbors part should scare us, but at least they held down A.J. Brown and held down Devonta Smith pretty good in the last game. And
just don't try to pass the ball, whereas we know the Giants will. Russell Wilson's just going to throw it up there and hope his guy gets it.
That's my only concern is the way they blitzed, that was the Eagles' offensive game plan. What if I just throw the ball up in the air and hope my guy gets it? I don't know that there's a single defender in the NFL I trust in a jump ball situation against Malik Neighbors. And certainly not the Chiefs. That's Trent McDuffie's size. That's the one time it actively hurts him.
Sure.
Is it like Devonta Smith he's bigger. He can just be bigger than him in that moment. The coverage stuff doesn't matter. Trent McDuffie was standing right next to Devonta Smith and still couldn't defend that pass. So over-under, what do we say? 3.5, they say? Moonball? What's our verdict on that?
Did they say on the broadcast?
Yeah.
Over. Collinsworth will mention Moonball at least 4 times on the broadcast Sunday night.
You just wait for it.
Up
You
next,
just wait for it, Cody.
let's talk about wide receivers like Malik Neighbors, like Xavier Worthy, with a former wide receiver. Danan Hughes joins us next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
We got football tonight. That's right. Miami, Buffalo. I hope Miami pulls an upset, but I'm not going to count on it. But if you want to make your selections, you can do it over at Underdog, and you can play tonight from the Missouri side, live over at Underdog. You just choose which players you think will go higher or lower than their stats, like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and so much more. And get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And you can play with as little as $1. I'm looking at tonight because the Buffalo's not done a good job against the run. I like Achane to go higher than 41.5 receiving yards because I think they'll use him in the pass game as well, trying to get after stopping the run. You can make those selections and so much more over at Underdog and join the millions who have already won billions over there by using promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org.
Another summer has ended, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower, your workouts aren't as productive, perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time, maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Heartland Men's Health and get treated for your low T, because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improved sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
I love how Hy-Vee is always finding new ways to save me money, like the new lower prices in every single department. And I really love how much I save on fuel with my Fuel Savers card. I saved 47 cents per gallon last week on fuel at Hy-Vee. So this is big. Thursday, September 18th, for 1 day only, you'll earn a 50-cent per gallon fuel discount when you spend just $50 on groceries. It's this Thursday only at Hy-Vee.
It's game day, and nothing says Chiefs football like the aroma of a tailgate grill. Kick off your pre-game party with a Kingdom Meat Bundle from Hy-Vee. Get 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 pork chops, 4 bratwurst, and 4 chuck patties for just $30. Plus, get a 10-cent per gallon fuel saver. Toss in some chips and dip, side dishes, and Chiefs-themed baked goods. Score the extra point with your favorite tailgate beverage from Hy-Vee Wine and Spirit. Just one stop for all your game day needs, only at Hy-Vee.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here we go. Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
This is incredible.
Watch your local NFL game live all season long.
And he's in for a touchdown.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
This afternoon, expect showers and thunderstorms with a high of 81.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com. Or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Hey guys, did you know that prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in American men? That's right. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in American men. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. Early prostate cancer often has no symptoms, which makes regular screenings key. The 5-year survival rate is nearly 100% when caught early. So get checked early and often. If you're a man over 50 or 45 if African American or with a family history, you should talk to a doctor about screening. A prostate cancer diagnosis can be scary, but no one should fight alone. Join us in raising awareness and saving lives. Don't wait. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Listen to the Royals and Blue Jays this Sunday on The Fan, AM 610, with Vern's On Deck show starting at noon. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Just a couple Royals notes to pass along as we hand things off to Vern at noon today. Royals taking on the Mariners out at Kauffman Stadium. Ryan Berger was just placed on the 15-day IL with a right elbow strain. Avila was recalled from AAA Omaha. Kyle Isbell placed on the 10-day IL with a left hamstring strain. Obviously, his season, therefore, is basically over. John Rave recalled from AAA Omaha. So a bevy of moves for the Kansas City Royals. But let's talk some Chiefs football as they get set to go to New York to take on the Giants. I guess for Danan Hughes, I don't know if he's going back home necessarily, although the New Jersey area and everything, right? Danan Hughes joins us here on Cody and Gold, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue, and brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Do you have, is this a Friends weekend as well for you?
Actually, it's just a homegoing coming, man. I'm going back home. Where we're staying at in Jersey City is where my wife grew up, and it's right next door to where I grew up. And so I got a high school football game tomorrow night. My high school's playing, and Iowa is playing at Rutgers tomorrow night.
Oh, wow, that's perfect.
So, yeah, we got a trifecta this weekend, so hopefully we'll get 3 wins.
How did you negotiate with Roger Goodell to get this all timed out perfectly like this?
Hey, I cannot reveal my sources or anything that I have on Roger Goodell that would sway him to go my way. I cannot do that on public airwaves. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we know, as far as the team, we know going into this one, everybody thinks Worthy's trending towards being able to play with that dislocated shoulder. He's going to need to wear a harness. Did you ever have a shoulder injury like this or a teammate? What does this mean in terms of maybe his ability to play, catch radius and all that?
Yes, I actually did. I still have, I assume, subluxating shoulders, which means that they can pop in and out at any time. For the old heads there, that may reference Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson, when he used to hit his shoulder on the wall in the movie. That's subluxating. It can pop in and out. I did not wear a harness, but I did wear extra padding on it, and I would just have to grind through it and grin and bear it. And it is a tough injury to have because as a wide receiver, most people would say, well, wide receivers, you can avoid hits, get down on the ground, run out of bounds. But what about the balls that are thrown over your head or contested balls? And now you have to raise that arm up, and you have some limitations in regards to your range of motion. So there are some challenges with it. It's not impossible to play with. You just got to tough through it. And the fact that I think it was a smart move, although we could have used him last week against the Eagles, it was a smart move to sit him. I'm sure he was in a position to at least fight through it. And it's probably one of those injuries last week where if it was week 16 or a playoff, he would play. But it's a smart move to get him a little bit more healed, because the one thing you don't want is something like that to be lingering for weeks. And now what could have been him bouncing back and now being at 75%, had he played last week, maybe he would have just been 55% for several weeks until the bye, barring any other injury. So I think it was a smart move, but I have played through that, and I have played with a lot of teammates, actually, that have had to wear harnesses and other contraptions on their arms because of a shoulder injury.
Danan, and speaking to a few other former players, I think the weirdest part about it, though, and the truth is that some guys just play better and it doesn't bother them, and some guys it bothers more. Same with the torn labrum and all the other stuff. Some guys are just better at playing through injuries, and we don't know that about Xavier Worthy till he's out there, right?
Correct. I mean, everybody is different. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's response. And, you know, you think about the mental approach. It's one thing to heal up, or it's one thing to be cleared to play. It's another thing to not allow it to mentally get into your head. And now you're starting to think about how, diving for a ball. Should I dive for a ball? How do I catch this ball as opposed to just reacting? The game of football, especially at the NFL level, is so fast that you don't have time to think about stuff like that. You just have to go out and do. And there are some guys I mean, I played with Dale Carter. He had a broken forearm, and he just had padding over it and played through it. He had a shoulder injury very similar to Xavier Worthy, and he played through it. And he played with reckless abandon. He didn't care about his body. He didn't even think about any of that stuff. He would throw his body into scrums and into big running backs, and like it didn't matter. So I feel like it's just about the makeup of the guy and how much adrenaline is flowing through his body, because that can get you through some of those tough times during the game. And then just staying active. Like you'd hate to see Xavier Worthy, and it's not like a leg injury where you have to sit on the bike. He may be on the bike with the, rowing with his arms just to keep his arms going. But with a leg injury, you don't want a defense to be on the field for a 12 to 14 play drive and you're sitting on the sideline. That's not necessarily the case with a shoulder injury, but you got to do things on the sideline outside of your routine to stay warm, stay loose, and to be able to go in the game with confidence.
When you look at what they're going to do on the running game, where do you think things need to improve? Do they need to use Brashard Smith more? Is Isaiah Pacheco where do you think the issues are, I guess, first off? And also, can they continue letting Mahomes run at this rate? We were pointing out he's only 20 yards behind Saquon Barkley. I feel like that can't be good in the long run.
Yeah, I don't think that's good in the long run, but I will say this, and I said this earlier this week on Bob's Fesco show. He ran the ball 7 times last game, led the team in rushing. We've all seen it, heard it. We all recognize it. Of those 7 runs, and I was pointing it out during the broadcast on this station, that when he was opting to run, and there's a difference because of all the noise and hoopla made about the offensive line during the offseason, and obviously the issues that we had in the Super Bowl and some of last year. I think the offensive line, they get blamed for things that are not necessarily their fault. Not saying that Patrick is doing a bad job, but there are times where he takes the ball and runs with it because he sees a window that he wants to take advantage of. Doesn't mean that it's a breakdown in the offensive line. Doesn't mean that the offensive line didn't do their job. It just means that he's taking a window to run. So of those 7 runs, I counted like 5 of them that he could have stayed in the pocket and possibly dealt the ball down the field. Doesn't mean that it was a bad play. It just means that he's opting to run, and that's just an instinct that he's going with right now that I think as the season moves forward, I'm hoping once we get a Rashee Rice back, once we get Xavier Worthy back, once you get this offense moving at the clip we all know it can, he's going to reverse that and then just get back to the form of what he's done in the past to run in big plays, preferably in the latter part of the season.
We're talking to Danan Hughes here on 96.5 The Fan. What have you seen from the Giants? They're 0-2, but last week in a shootout against the Cowboys offensively, of course, Russell Wilson played pretty damn well. Malik Neighbors, we know what he brings to the table. What's the biggest concern here for the Chiefs?
I think the biggest concern is that they are in desperation mode, similar to us. Neither team wants to go 0-3. They're playing at home. Russell Wilson has given us some fits at times, even with that craziness that he was dealing with Sean Payton in Denver. He still was able to put their teams in position to win games against us. So he's a veteran. You can tell he can still throw the deep ball, although he had that last interception. The rest of the game, he was airing it out. So I feel like if they want to make a stance and they want to, kind of save their season to some respect, this is a great way to do it on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs, who have been dominant in the AFC for so long. So there's a lot of incentive on their side. I expect them, unlike what we saw with the Eagles, I expect them to go for some home run throws just like they did last week, because guess what? It worked. It worked for them. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they're going to come out and probably see very similar game plan to what they employed last week against the Cowboys, and we have to be ready for that. They know we play man-to-man. We know we play man-to-man. They know we're not just going to allow him to sit back in the pocket without any pressure, and they're going to be ready for that. The one way You defeat that is by throwing it up to your tall, playmaking receivers and either hope for a catch or a penalty that'll get you a chunk of yardage. That's how you get defenses to pull their foot off the gas pedal.
Danan, it might admittedly be because of the injury. So if that's part of your answer, I understand. But there's part of me, and I'm curious if you've seen the same. I've been very disappointed in the lack of differences in the offense. It feels like it's the exact same offense I had to watch last year. And I think for the most part, it wasn't successful for big chunks of the year. And it didn't feel like they came in here running a lot of different schemes or changes. And for a team that, you know, like Andy Reid, I know makes changes, I'm surprised to see it look so similar.
Well, I mean, what offense doesn't look the same as it did in previous years? It's just a matter of execution. So it's not like there's an overhaul of a playbook where you start to change everything up. I mean, again, and I saw this on Get Up this morning, and I thought it was said over the course of this week. Prior to 3 games ago, we were going to go down as one of the best, if not the best teams in history. So you can't just throw everything out because we've had 3 losses, one of them being embarrassing and the other ones being games that we would have won in the past by 1-score games. So, yeah, are they playing at a midseason or late season clip on offense? No. But does that mean that the concepts are wrong and that they can't make plays? And then remember, last year it was Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown out of the offense. Isaiah Pacheco out for a large portion of the season. This year it's Rashee Rice and for 1 7/8 of a game, Xavier Worthy. Once we get those guys back, then I think that's when you can have the conversation. Give me 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after all of those guys are healthy on the field to decide if this offense looks the same and there should be some changes.
Danan Hughes will be listening on Sunday night right here on 96.5 The Fan as the Chiefs take on the Giants. Appreciate it. Enjoy the trip back home.
All right, fellas. Thank you.
There you go. Danan Hughes joins us thanks to Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue and brought to you by Flight. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Talk about everything coming together for Danan this weekend. That's kind of cool. He gets to go
Iowa and Rutgers and his high school.
Yeah, Iowa's playing Rutgers the same weekend. Obviously, the Jersey, of course, that's where the stadium is at as well. Perfect. It all sets up
the birthplace of college football.
Yeah, that's
so this Friday will be the first high school football game I've attended in a very long
You're
time.
going?
My daughter,
Which one?
My daughter did like a Palmy camp. So they like perform at halftime
this is
Oak Park game
Oak
on
Park.
Friday.
Okay.
Hey. When's the last time you went to your alma mater? I have not been to a high school football game in my alma mater since high school. I have not been since.
Same.
I don't know if that makes me a bad person,
Same.
but I have not been since high school.
No, I mean, if you played on the football team or something, I think it's probably different. You probably have gone back.
Might shock you.
I have not.
Did not.
Yeah, same. In case you need clarification. Yeah, I have not been back. High school football game, I've been to one within the last, it's probably still been 6 years.
When did you go? Just like
in Texas. I wanted to experience high school football in Texas.
That's fair.
Because it's obviously a different animal down there. So I went to a couple in Houston when I was there. But I don't think I've been to one since I've been back in Kansas City. Am I missing one? I don't think so. Maybe it'll change when my nephews get older and stuff. You know, maybe I'll have a different answer. But right now, I have no reason to go to a high school
unless they're
game.
playing in it, why would you go? You're not going to just go to the high school football game that they're also attending. That's weird.
But
weird?
Unless there's some player that's like, top recruit or something, and I just want to go watch, right? Like, there's some talent obviously in the KC area.
I think Carrington goes to more high school sports than anyone else. Bink, obviously, over the years.
For football. Carrington, I think, does a lot of high school basketball.
Oak Park, I'm going to Binkley's alma mater on Friday.
Oh, he's going to text you now.
I don't know.
He's going to be texting you all kinds of scoops.
I got to say, I don't know who they're playing. I should probably look that up, huh?
I mean,
let's see. I mean, I'm there to watch my daughter do a halftime thing. They're taking on Smithville.
Are you staying for the whole game?
No.
Oak Park is 2-1 on the season, Cody. They're 2-1. Oh, no, wrong school. Sorry.
No, they're 1-2.
1-2, yeah.
Tough start for Oak Park.
1-2. I was looking at the wrong year.
I thought they had a pretty good year last year, but they have allowed 116 points in 2 games this year. So I feel I would suggest not giving up 60 points a game if you'd like things. Oh, I'm sorry, that's in 3 games, so 40 points. 40 points a game. But still,
That's tough.
I would suggest that's not the case.
54 against Lee.
I can't tell you the last time that I've been in Indianapolis around high school football season.
I could
Somebody
see
says you don't go to the homecoming games. I'm like, no.
I could see Drew going to. I'm surprised you don't go to more high school football games.
Yeah, that actually does surprise me. It just feels like something you would just randomly go to in the area.
So it's weird. Like as much as I love college football, I think I'd be more on caring. If I went to high school events, it'd be high school basketball. I think I would be more likely to.
It would have to be like
that.
the person projected. Like it had to be like Cooper Flagg was playing locally for me to go.
Yeah, I
Right?
I mean,
like I saw Ochai Abaji's number hung up, the jersey hung up when we were there for practice.
There you go.
The week before.
The last
And
time
even that wasn't the person who's going to go number one overall. It was just the top kid in the area.
Yeah. The last time I went to a high school football game at my alma mater was a year after I graduated. Yeah, but again, I've bounced around in so many places. I haven't been in Indianapolis in the fall to go to one.
True.
Somebody said Smithville favored by 5.5. Who's doing lines for high school football games?
Person's joking, and they're joking.
They're doing high school football lines.
Jeez,
which side of the action do you want on that? You want to bet on high schoolers?
I'm not.
If we get to that point, we know that gambling has gone too far. If we now have lines,
that's like the
one. That's the hard.
That's the
line.
last straw. Yes, that is the last straw.
Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. Someone says, Gold, the Ravens are much better than when you were there. They used to be bad. Oh, trust me, the football team was not good at all when I was there. They were horrendous.
Didn't you say that they were found? Like you were there when the
school was only like
founded.
4 years old, 3 years old.
Winnetonka was also horrible at football when I was there. Although they did, for whatever reason, maybe based on population, were dropped down a class for a single year I was there and won a district championship.
There you go.
Or like a conference.
That drop down helped a lot.
Yeah, that drop down in class for the year boosted.
My alma mater.
How's Winnetonka these days? Any good? Anybody know?
I have no idea.
You're supposed to keep up with these things, Cody.
You don't know your alma mater's record. Get out of here.
I don't know them this year. I know last year they went 5-4. Lawrence Central. When I was growing up, LC was awful in football. When I went there, we beat our rivals 70-0.
There you go.
And we went to state twice and won it once.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
All right, let's go out to Torrance, California, shall we?
Sure.
I mainly did this one because you know how much I enjoy this type of restaurant. But there was a Benihana
Chinese
restaurant.
buffet?
No, that's you, which I think you've taken our advice.
I don't think he'll ever go back to one ever again.
We've convinced you after your food point. No, this is different. This is hibachi, okay? Benihana is hibachi. Anyway, it was the site of a brawl between employees on Monday night. Basically, there's a whole video. You should watch it. Utensils are thrown everywhere, plates, dishes. Customers rushed from their seats to avoid being part of the fight. Eventually, security managed to escort a, quote, highly agitated man off the premises. That suspect was gone once police arrived at the scene. The melee reportedly started by a dispute between a manager and one of the employees. Now, in your time working in the restaurant industry, did you ever see a manager and employee get in a fight that led to a brawl or any sort of physical confrontation?
No brawl. I've certainly seen loud verbal arguments, but I've never seen a physical fight between a manager.
I like a Benihana, though. I like a hibachi restaurant. You know that.
I feel like I want to take my kids there soon.
Should.
They've never been one.
Cody, you have to.
Is 7 and 9 feels like the range where it's like kind of fun to watch them.
Yeah, they'll enjoy
flip the food.
All this, they'll enjoy the big fire that they like. They'll enjoy the onion that becomes a volcano. They pour the sauce in, and it looks like it's the.
You think I should take my kids to a little hibachi?
They can catch some shrimp. All of it. Yeah, you got to take the kids to a little hibachi.
Honestly, most of my life has been actively figuring out how to not get into a physical altercation. So I very rarely often think about that. I'm fine to get into a verbal argument, but I'm not trying to get into a fight. That's also the worst kind of restaurant to fight in. A hibachi?
Why is it the worst?
Everything's hot and open and available.
Well, yeah, don't be thrown on the hibachi grill. That's a problem.
Yeah, it's just too close access-wise. Normally, what's the worst that's going to get you? A plate or a glass? You know, I mean, you're not going to see that. I've never seen anyone I've never seen a restaurant employee.
The fried rice there is incredible.
Mostly people, in my experience in the restaurant industry, just cry in closets or they'll walk in. Mostly the emotional.
They'll cry?
Oh, I've seen lots of people cry at work in the restaurant game.
They'll just go hide somewhere.
Normally in a closet or in the walk-in.
That seems like a terrible environment.
To cry?
Well, just that it's causing that. In the workplace.
It was a pretty common, I would say it was a pretty common experience. That was a once a week
Was it because like a customer was rude to them or something?
Sometimes that. Maybe sometimes they got overwhelmed because their section was too busy. It was a lot of. Sometimes they were mad about things that were happening in the restaurant, or like the chef yelled at them. You know.
Did you get yelled at by the chef?
Oh, I've been yelled at by a chef. Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, mess up an order enough in the middle of a busy time, they might get back.
You messed the order up, not the chef.
Honestly, it's maybe one of the few things I'll take credit for in my time working in restaurants. If I went to a table, I actively took blame if it was my fault. But I also blamed the kitchen if it was theirs. Like, if it was my fault, I came to the table with integrity.
The chef screwed up, guys.
If they screwed up, I told them they screwed up.
I've got to be totally honest.
I'll be honest with you. I did not put dressing on the side. That's on me. I'll go get that taken care. That one's on me. I'll solve that problem. But if they screwed it up, I'm not taking the blame.
Yeah. No, you should take the kids to hibachi. I think they would enjoy it, Cody.
I have to keep that in mind.
I haven't been to a
Get
hibachi
a
place
little
in a while.
teriyaki chicken and steak, some fried rice. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, I think it's probably time. I think we'll plan that out here soon.
Drew, when's the last time you went? Have you been to hibachi?
I've been. I can't tell you the last time I went.
Show trip to a hibachi.
Hey, I'm all for that. Hey,
we got to go to Chuck's Arcade first.
We can do that after.
Oh, okay.
From the 913, I love Chinese buffets. There's one in Leavenworth that this person frequents at. How often would you say you get food poisoning if you're going? Like, is this the like if you get sick?
Okay, we're talking about two different restaurants.
No, it's the reasoning.
Do not put do not put hibachi in the category of Chinese buffet. These are two. No, I don't. No. Two different.
I'm not, I agree. I'm just saying if somebody frequents at a Chinese buffet and there's a reputation, then I wonder if you're sick a little bit more often, you know?
Yeah, in general, I don't like how often have I had food poisoning in my life, period, from anything? I have no idea. A handful of times, maybe. I don't know. Like, it's hard to also know for sure, you know?
Versus, any other thing.
Have a stomach bug.
For some reason, in the last year, I've had the stomach bug or whatever it is, food poisoning twice, which before that, I'd only had maybe once or twice in my life. So I'm either doing something wrong or there's just something going on.
Yeah. That is the trash of the day, guys.
That reminds me when
somebody else says they eat at Chinese buffets all the time.
I had to do a food handler's card when I worked in restaurants, and so you had to do this you had to sit in like a 3-hour class. And the guy in that claimed he had been food poisoned like 71 times. I'm like, sir, I think you might just have like IBS.
That's crazy.
I actually don't think that these restaurants are all poisoning you. Yeah. I think you might have Crohn's disease.
Yeah, there might be
and you should get looked at by a doctor, dude.
Might have some bowel problems.
Yeah. You've just been food poisoned.
That's unbelievable.
Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour and what Patrick Mahomes said yesterday on the drive.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Gloomy weather can also be deck weather. Why not build your dream deck over at All Weather Decks? The right deck at the right price. Schedule a free estimate today by going to their website, allweatherdecks.net, and see pictures of their work as a 24-time winner of Angie's List Super Service Award. Honestly, what I like about it is it gives you inspiration for what your backyard retreat could look like. They've got pictures of all of their work they've done all over the Kansas City area up on their website and a map of where those jobs are. You're like, I don't want to just see it online. I want to see it on a house. You can do that by checking out where they've done work throughout the city and then see for yourself the quality of the work they do over at All Weather Deck. So if you're looking for this and you've been thinking about this project, wait no longer. It's a great time to schedule a free estimate. Again, go to allweatherdecks.net or give them a call, 913-206-1974.
Danan Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're gonna love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danan Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
From Kansas City to the capital city, Washburn University is close. Sure, it's close to home, but it's also a close community where you get close to other students and professors, to incredible opportunities, from study abroad to internships and jobs, and where it's always easy to get close to the action. Get one step closer to your dreams. There's no place like Washburn. It's not even close. Learn more at washburn.edu/KC.
Fall is the season for reinvention, and it's easy to do at Macy's Fall Favorite Sale. Come in and find your new favorite styles, like romantic ruffled dresses, chic trenches, cashmere sweaters, and textural fall layers, which are perfect for mixing and matching. All for 20 to 50% off. So if you're looking for your new favorite things, look no further than the Fall Favorite Sale. Today, only at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same day or next day delivery, or order online and pick it up in store. Kills primers, pro results, faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
This Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th, you can get a great deal on a new foot spa, transforming you into the queen of kicking it.
Wait, this has bubble jets. Okay.
Get up to 40% off with Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Up to $100 in bonus rewards available at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Your favorite neighborhood spots run unsquare. You know the ones. Maybe it's the popular shop that just opened a new location by you, or the big sports bar that's always packed on game day. These places make the neighborhood, and the money spent there stays in your community. Square powers more than 4 million neighborhood businesses worldwide. To learn more, go to square.com or just stop by your favorite local business. See you in the neighborhood. Square.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net. Happens to be, by the way, Gold. I love sitting out when it's like sprinkling, raining, like where it's not.
You
nice.
sit on the deck and you get to read a book. Are you going to read a book?
I'm a very Midwest. No, I got a TV out there.
What are you going to watch?
I got a projector screen.
Wow. You're going to the Royals game today, though.
Not today. I just mean in general, I like sitting outside when it's like raining slightly outside.
Yeah.
Cool fall weather. That's all.
No, I enjoy this weather. Absolutely. Now, admittedly, after we have it for 2 straight weeks of no sun, then I'm not enjoying
Then you're
that.
over it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. But right this second, oh yeah, this was great. I mean, this is one of those, you wake up and it's still dark out, between also just, we haven't, obviously fallen backwards or whatever, in terms of daylight savings time and everything, but also.
Is that coming up?
Yeah, November 2nd. And then also.
You had that memorized.
There was an article I just saw yesterday.
I was like, God, you had that down.
I just saw the article yesterday. It was in passing. That's the only reason why I knew. But yeah, it was so dark out, so you could have just laid in bed for hours today. Could have just stayed in bed. You could have hit that snooze button 100 times today.
If only we didn't have jobs.
We are going to hand things off to Vern, though, in about 25 minutes as the Royals have a day game against the Seattle Mariners today. Of course, yesterday you saw Carter Jensen come up with a hit. Caglione came up with a hit. Royals get the win, and we'll see ultimately if they can at least make the Mariners work for their division crown in the AL.
Yeah, honestly, make life hard on them. Show fight towards the end of the season. Give yourself something happy going into next year. And obviously, if Jensen and Caglione want to continue to contribute, I'm all aboard that, certainly, because that's going to move the needle for them next year.
Yesterday, Patrick Mahomes was on with Carrington, and of course, for the weekly interview, talking about the performance on Sunday, but also yesterday was his birthday. As you know, we did a topic around his 30s and what Brady's 30s look like in terms of performance and everything. And Mahomes in an interview said at one point in time that, hey, it's been a fun 9 years essentially, but hopefully it's another 10 or 15 years.
This is a player.
The exact quote from Patrick Mahomes was, "It's been a lot of fun these last 9 years, but let's make it another 10 to 15 more."
Okay, so early on in his career, he had kind of made it sound like, I'm not going to be one of those guys who plays into my 40s. He has stopped saying that publicly, and now instead is in an interview saying 10 to 15 years? Are you telling me we get mid-40s Patrick Mahomes?
I won't go there yet, but it means he's open to it at this point when he's 30. Is he saying that when he's 37 and he's beat up more and his kids are older and all that kind of stuff? I don't know. I don't think he's retiring before 40. Like anybody was thinking, he's going to be one of these guys that just said, hey, 38. Now, we're all presuming health too, right? Of course, that can derail any career. Sure. We're all assuming that's not why he would hang it up. Yeah, I feel more confident that he's starting in this league and hopefully through the Chiefs when he's 40 years old than I probably did, a couple years ago. I thought there was a real chance that maybe he could be one of those guys that would hang it up at 38, 39, given the opportunities these guys now have off the field and financial reasons as well, and the money they're making throughout their careers more than it ever has been. Now, I don't know if I'm willing to say, I'm going to hold him to it. 45, I wouldn't go that far, Cody. But yeah, I think 40's in play.
I genuinely, I think it's more realistic now than it's ever been. Now, part of it is we're still limited by the numbers. How many quarterbacks have played successful football in their 40s? The answer is still 1 and a half.
You mean by winning a Super Bowl? Or?
Yeah, I was going to say and a half if I'm giving Aaron Rodgers he still plays competent level football in his 40s.
Yeah, I guess the barometer is if we're still holding it to the Super Bowl standard, or are we just saying he's one of the top 15
How many others besides even those guys? If I give Aaron Rodgers.
Because I'm saying, Joe Flacco a couple years ago played pretty good football for his age. Now, nobody thought he was going to lead him to a Super Bowl, but he won a playoff game, didn't he?
But it was still incredibly limited. And now he was
or did they lose that playoff game?
They lost it. And he's a more limited player in his regular NFL career. So maybe his standard of play hasn't dropped off, in fairness, versus what it is. And look, Aaron Rodgers was 39 years old, still playing top 15 quarterback, and 37 was playing MVP level quarterback.
Manning's last year, and he obviously was hurt and stuff, and
he was
a shell of himself, and he was 39. He didn't make it to 40.
No, he didn't. And so, now I would say Peyton Manning was dealing with more injuries leading into it. The biggest part of this right now is, and we probably haven't discussed this enough, and I don't know if I'm supposed to knock on a ton of wood or whatever this works. Patrick Mahomes had a very healthy career.
Oh, boy.
And so, come on. I'm not allowed to say, I'm just stating a fact. I'm putting a statement.
Write it down.
I'm putting a statement of fact into the. I'm allowed to say that. That's factually correct.
You are.
And so, like, some of this will come into, like, if he maintains the same level of health he's been fortunate to have so far, I think it'll be easy to convince yourself to play into your 40s and to play regularly into your 40s. And the fact that at 30 years old, he is already saying 10 to 15 years makes me think that maybe we are about halfway age-wise through Patrick Mahomes' career, but there's still plenty of years left, I guess, into this thing. I hope he plays into his 40s.
Yeah.
There's no reason to think he still won't be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL.
Someone said Rich Gannon. Yeah, Rich Gannon, younger than you think. He was, that Super Bowl appearance, he was 37 when that happened, and he retired after his 39-year-old season. So, yes, he was older, but we're talking like when you're 40 plus.
I always thought I was getting Patrick Mahomes at age 37.
Man, Rich Gannon.
I'm trying to decide if Joe Burrow's going to Andrew Luck, and he's going to quit at 29.
Sorry, I'm now going down a rabbit hole of Rich Gannon and bringing up bad memories. But I forgot.
Well, they made the wrong choice between Gannon and Gerbach.
Yes, they did. You mean the Rich Gannon that won an MVP a few years later?
I say what? This is one of the differences, like, if you've lived in a town in your entire life. Drew, do you have any idea what we're talking about between, like, the decision-making between Gannon and Gerbach? Does that doesn't, like, ring into your brain in any way,
I mean,
right?
I remember watching Rich Gannon play, but I don't know who you said Gerbach? I couldn't tell you who that is.
So much like the Drew Brees, Dante Culpepper, they had both Elvis Gerbach and Rich Gannon on the roster before Rich Gannon won an MVP and won a Super Bowl went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
went
to a
Super Bowl with the Raiders. He was on the roster at the same time, and they looked at those two guys and they said, "Our guy's Elvis Gerbach," presumably only because his name was cooler. Although Rich Gannon's not like a terrible name.
That's a good name.
It's a great football name. Elvis Gerbach, that's a great name from an athlete perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But then Gerbach went to the division rival and took him to a Super Bowl and won an MVP. So that one
it was the Super Bowl they lost to that was the Super Bowl Dungy won with the Bucks.
Kurt Warner's another name, by the way.
Yeah, but Warner did not play in his 40s.
He
was old. Funny. We all think these guys were all 40.
He looked like Father Time. He looked like Father Christmas, and so you thought
Kurt Warner when
Kurt Warner
was like 37, 38?
The same as Gannon. It's just, they're all in the same category. Kurt Warner's last game in the league was when he was 38.
And he was a shell.
He just couldn't.
The last year, he wasn't a shell. He's
his 37-year-old season, he was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
he had 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 14 picks. This was back in
he was just
in
stuck
08.
in the pocket the whole time.
Right.
He can move.
His final year was with Arizona. They were 10-5. He threw for 3,700, 26 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. So, yeah, a lot of these guys, 38, 39, sure, but 40, 41, 42, it just doesn't really happen.
No, and then Tom Brady up to what? He was 45 years old or whatever the hell it is, or Aaron Rodgers is now.
TextLine is destroying you.
TextLine is very mad.
It's not going to be.
They said if something happens to Mahomes this week, you will never, ever hear the end of it.
I'll make sure they never hear the end of it.
I didn't say anything. I just said that he's been healthy.
On Monday, we'll have a intervention, I think. And on Monday, Drew and I would call up Binkley and I would bring him in and I would say, I would let you start the show.
And then I have to take the day off?
I would let you start the show and then we would kick you
out. I'm on suspension?
We would, as a show, suspend you. Drew and I would enact a suspension immediately.
Are you allowed to do that?
I don't know.
I feel like it's got to come from someone higher up.
We would try it, though. And I would try to get Specs permission at that point in time. If you caused anything, I think we would have Bink fill in on Monday.
You're also saying this, Cody, on the cusp of him having the 15th most rushing yards in the league and running people over and everything like that.
I was just simply speaking a fact.
Yeah. By the way, sorry. Yeah, Dungy. It was Dungy's team, but Gruden won the Super Bowl. That's right. That's what nobody gave Gruden credit because it was Dungy's squad. Dungy left and then Gruden. You're correct. Thank you. Text line.
You're saying
it's such a weird.
Gruden won the Super Bowl. It was Dungy's roster, Dungy's scheme, all of it.
It's so weird because you could always, but then you could make the argument, be like, "What the hell? How the hell are you coming up short?" All I had to do is walk in here in the building, and in 1 year I took this thing. Versus like at least the Switzer era, or like at least when like someone took over like a multi-time champion. It's slightly different.
Oh, text line.
Somebody says you better turn in your mic if he gets hurt. It's like turning in your badge and gun.
Yeah.
If you're an officer,
we will.
I have to physically turn
your
in
headset.
my microphone.
You will hand us your headset. Yeah,
please hand in your headset and your microphone.
You think I'm joking? If he gets hurt Monday or Sunday, Monday morning, I'm calling in Bink. He's going to be sitting on standby right here.
All right,
we're going to let you turn your microphone on, and then we are kicking you off the show for the day.
I will turn off. Fine, I guess. I don't know. Although I still think it's going to have to come from somebody higher up than you. And
you don't think Speck will agree to this? If
because he's out of town, you're going to go higher up.
I'll call him up. I'll call him up.
We'll get him on the phone line.
Rob, I'll get Rob's permission. Whoever's in charge. I'll go even higher if I have to.
You're going up to Roxanne?
I'll do whatever I have to do. If you cause this injury mojo in the air.
We need to get as many people in here as possible just to witness.
All right.
To witness that.
All right. Let's hope we don't have to do
in
that.
In fairness, Cody,
for your sake.
You did mention a fact, but you know how these things go.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
Yes.
It would be unfortunate for me, admittedly.
And for Chiefs fans, I suppose, as well.
I want to be clear, though, that if not this week, I'm fine. I'm safe.
Yes, I think.
I only 2 weeks?
Can
we set a timeline in which I'm free from this?
You better hope he doesn't get hurt this year.
This year?
Yeah, people are yelling at their radios right now.
It's
Just stop
week 2.
talking about it.
Yeah, I don't think you should mention this ever again.
The top text, really?
You will essentially end this show. You basically end this show. That's what'll happen.
That'd be tough.
Dang.
There's been people kicked off the radio in the last 5 years in this city. I can't be getting that kind of
people
treatment.
kicked off a lot of shows recently.
I don't get any goodwill.
Yeah.
I don't get any goodwill. Built up goodwill.
Someone wants you to get tased on air, Cody.
I would enjoy seeing that.
Tased? That's my punishment for this?
So that's what somebody suggested.
We
for the
could get someone to
913.
come in and tase you.
I don't think they're allowed to just.
Would you rather him get tased
find
or would
somebody.
rather
I'll
him
tell you
just
right now,
get
they're
kicked
going to
off the
make
show?
me sign some sort of legally binding document. I don't know that's going to happen on the show. I have to do that as a free citizen of free will.
Oh, we'll come to your backyard and do it. That's fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to have to be that.
Anyway.
The same as, remember, this is an above board show.
You're saying kick him off the air and then
Someone
after
says,
go
Cody,
to his place.
Someone
and
said
get him
if this
tased.
happens, Cody, you wouldn't even make it into work on Monday morning. Anyway, all right, let's move on.
Jeez.
Let's move on. Shall we?
Okay. Yes. For now, let's move on. And let's talk instead what you mentioned at the beginning of the show that I'm still curious by. Because there's other names. At the beginning of the show, you'd said, hey, if you were going to make a personnel change and let somebody play more, somebody play less, how would you shift it? You mentioned you would like to see more Brashard Smith. I had mentioned more Jaden Hicks, which also meant a little bit less Shamari Connor in certain roles. Somebody had texted in, stunned, they said, that the two names we hadn't mentioned were Jared Wiley and Ashton Gelati playing more.
Drew
the Jared
mentioned
Wiley,
Gelati.
I'm going to say, the Jared Wiley one, why? Like, what is the argument for seeing him play more? I have seen him play all of a dozen snaps in his NFL career.
Yeah.
And Noah Gray, to his credit, has been bad this year.
Well, they haven't played him this year.
But in previous years, has been a very effective NFL player. So, like, Jared Wiley, I don't need to see more or less or whatever. Whatever he plays is fine.
I wouldn't mind
Gelati,
seeing.
I could hear.
I wouldn't mind seeing more Noah Gray, like some more opportunity there. Heck, Robert Tonyan. There's a long list of tight ends before I would even get to Jared Wiley, with all due respect to him. So, yeah, I don't need to see more of him. Brashard Smith, some of it admittedly is I haven't seen him fail yet. But I also think they need some more juice in the passing game from the backs. And Brashard Smith was a former wide receiver. So I like the potential there. If you got the ball to Brashard Smith in space, could he be somebody that could help out your offense moving forward? I don't know if I agree with the Gelati one. I know, Drew, you said he should play more than a Minihue. I just think
Which essentially would be starting level reps.
Yeah, and I don't think Gelati should be starting. But if you want to say he needs to start working in more, I'll listen to that. I just don't think he should be starting.
I think we give Charles Minihue a month, but like right now, he is not a successful pass rusher.
I think from the Eagles game at least, I think Charles Minihue had 65% of the snaps, and I think Ashton Gelati had 41.
That's a pretty typical split for starter to backup.
And then, of course, Karlaftis had a ton.
I guess the question is, how in 2 games, like, again, no pressure, no sacks.
Mm-hmm.
The only guy getting pressure on the quarterbacks are Chris Jones or Karlaftis.
That's
Nobody
it.
else on the defensive
That's it.
line or guys they blitz. So that's slightly.
Yeah, Drew Tranquil's got 2 sacks.
Yeah. Fine, guys,
he leads the team right now.
Players they physically blitz.
That's not good.
I guess we're going
no.
there. It's no turnovers, no sacks. A lot of the same stuff. And look, I don't know what that's coming from. Like I saw Stephen Ruiz just put out an article that said the slow, boring end of the Chiefs dynasty, right? Like
interesting.
the reason why you hadn't realized it's the end of the Chiefs dynasty, it's been this slow fade. And by slow fade is still insane to me. They were in the Super Bowl last year. What's slow about that? They win 15 games.
Right.
If the dynasty end, it will not be slow in my opinion. it's been instant.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the Super Bowl.
Losing in the wild card round or something like that.
Yeah, but it would still be instant, right? They were a 15-win team who was in the Super Bowl last year. If this year they go 10-7 and lose in the wild card game, then it wasn't a slow decline of their dynasty. It ended. It stopped, and they're going to have to start a new one. It didn't slowly fade into obscurity because of 2 football games. They were a very viable team last year.
I think I think I would say regardless, but if they miss the playoffs, of course, I think it's definitely done. But let's say they lose in the wild card round.
Mm-hmm.
Is it jumping the gun to say that it's over because of how many times the Patriots lost in the wild card or the divisional round?
This current dynasty would be over.
But to say that they had no chance of winning the Super Bowl next year would be dumb. But to say
that's what I'm
signal,
saying. So
I would just say
is the dynasty over then if they have one off season?
If they were to lose in the wild card, I think you could say this dynasty, this one is over. Just like the Patriots had 2. Doesn't mean that in 3 years another one could start. But this current era, this dynasty, if in fact they had an early exit, or as you said, of course, if they somehow missed the playoffs, that would also signify that, in my opinion.
It is kind of wild because still the problem, what Drew is probably pointing out here is, in a 5-year run, let's say they lose in a wild card game this year, the 5-year run would still be 2 Super Bowl wins, 3 Super Bowl appearances.
Depending on what,
it still wouldn't or 4-year run, it'd still be 3 Super Bowl appearances, and it doesn't still track as feeling like the end, but I'm with you.
But I think a dynasty ends.
I
think a dynasty ends if you're losing a wild card weekend though. After I understand
unless you win the Super Bowl the following year or whatever.
Sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that if they went 10-7 and they lost in the wild card round, but then they got right back again, I don't think it was ever over. Then I think it's the following year.
So you think it's 2 straight years?
Yeah, if they went 10-7 and lost in the wild card, and then let's say they lost in the wild card again, then it actually is done.
2 early exits in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Even if it was wild card divisional, it'd be okay, that dynasty's over. Now, how do you get back to the top?
If they don't make it to an AFC title game in back-to-back seasons, then for sure I would say that it's done. Because that's obviously all Patrick Mahomes knows.
Drew, someone on the video chat was asking the thing I mentioned before. Sorry, I was going to ask him about, because we're just talking dynasty team. Is there any part of you that's worried that Joe Burrow will go the way of Andrew Luck and he'll just quit football?
So I've had multiple friends text me about this.
I'm asking because people put out the stats and the comparisons are apt.
I know. I think the comparison is totally fair, and I understand. I don't think it will happen, but I totally get why that comp is being discussed. I totally understand why that comparison is being made. I completely understand.
But Andrew Luck, unique individual, as we know.
He was running the ball a whole lot more.
Unique individual, but also, correct me if I'm wrong, he was dealing with a neck injury. Right?
I think neck was part of it.
And that's obviously far more serious and scarier about your long-term health. Joe Burrow has been hurt a lot, but his toe, he's going to be fine. The toe eventually, it's not like the toe is going to change, his entire quality of life by having turf toe is going to be changed forever. So I think some of it is, fortunately for Joe Burrow, he's not dealing with
the right kind of
life-altering type injury stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't view it as the same. Now, if they continue to make the mistake of not protecting their franchise quarterback, then they're asking for it,
Yeah. And part of that, I think, starts with the run game.
But this all goes back to the same thing. I wouldn't have paid T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I would have done things to improve my defense to keep, or my offensive line. I would have just paid different people. I would have definitely paid Jamar Chase, but I wouldn't have paid both wide receivers. I would have figured out a different way.
I guess the interesting thing to just put a bow on it is their problems were, he's always dealt with the offensive problems and they've been okay, where his injuries haven't been, the wrist injury was not offensive line related. The toe injury, I think, is kind of offensive line related.
I think you take more hits, more chance to get hurt.
Yeah, of course, which is part of the issue. And in fairness, they haven't done a good job. I think part of it is also not just getting help, but it's the development of the offensive line has not been good.
By the way, just looked it up, more clarification. Andrew Luck, it was a shoulder injury that they said was going to continue to get worse. It kept popping up for him.
Same one that Cam
because
Newton
in fairness to your point, Cody, he kept on getting hit, and Andrew Luck also had
he's different. He's just
Andrew
different,
Luck also never slid.
It's rare.
He ran guys over, and people were begging him to slide.
The Barry Sanders, Andrew Luck, it's rare, but every 5 or 6 years, there's a